for installation.
Is 3.1 okay, or should we download the latest?
I would recommend the latest because there could be some performance improvements or like some extra templates, things that pop up. So I would recommend the latest one.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we are recording.
Nice. Cool, very excited. I think we can maybe wait just 3 minutes and then we can start it that way, just to see it, because some people just are finishing the work that way. Then you can see new faces. All right.
I'm going to send the link again to, it looks like Nara says send the link.
Yeah,
It's
Nara,
right there.
it's the first link in the chat, Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I think in 2 minutes we can start with a quickly introduction. How we do introduction, just say your name, what are you doing, and if you wanna, you can share in the chat your LinkedIn profile in the chat link. So just be ready for that. So good saying. We can share all the links later in the comment section. We'll save all the links. So if anybody missing, so who just new here, just please download the file. It's the first link in the chat. This all your file. You're gonna use it in the workshop. All right.
I have a quick question. Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is my second meeting. My name's Kevin, but I'll introduce myself. So for Francis, do you know if this Lens Studio is only available for Snapchat, or can we use it in in other applications?
So it's only available for the Snapchat platform. However, unlike other social media platforms, they don't put like TikTok, they don't put the logo of TikTok or Snapchat, Instagram. So if so the short answer is the AR lens can only be used within Snapchat, but you can share it to other platforms, and there won't be a logo that says TikTok or Instagram or whatnot. So it's only used for Snapchat, but you can share it anywhere you want.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
Cool. I think let's start it with introduction and lead the way. All right. Thank you for coming for Lens Studio workshop with my great friend Francis. He is very passionate about AR industry. So feel free to ask him questions like you have in your mind. So my name is Sasha Menchikova. I am AR VR designer and developer. I'm co-hosting this group with Michael. And Michael, he can introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Mike Oder. I'm the co-organizer of the AR/VR Creators Group. And I've been working in AR and VR for 6 years now, currently focused on volumetric video and AR experiences. I guess we're going to pass it on.
Yeah,
John?
Francis, no.
Francis, yes, Francis, yes.
He's Francis, he's
yes.
a star of this night. So Francis, please introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Francis Chen. I'm actually also from the San Francisco Bay Area. I am an AR developer and animator. I have my own independent LLC. I'm also a Snapchat official world lens creator. So I am actually pivoting to create world lenses for the marketing, retail, hospitality, and dining space. Because I'm a Snapchat world lens creator, I can answer questions regarding the Snapchat ecosystem, why I recommend experimenting a lot with it, and Snap Lens Studio. I look forward to meeting everybody here and having a good time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. I just moved on the screen who said, John, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm John Brewer. I'm an app developer who's been working in computer vision, AR, and mixed reality now for like a decade, and doing other stuff before that.
Cool. Thank you. Robin?
I'm Robin Hayes, also in the Bay Area, developer. Been doing VR since back in the 90s and on and off.
No, I feel like you're always here in the industry. Thank you. Just quick reminder, just download the file. It's the first link in the chat, so to be ready for the workshop. Azin?
Hi, Sasha. I am an educator. I teach computer science, and I'm going to be teaching a course called XR for social good next year. So as a teacher of XR, I need to know how to do it really well. So I've been using my free time to do cool workshops with Sasha and different classes just to get better at being able to teach this. So thank you for having this.
Thank you for coming, Azin. Susan?
Oh, hi. I do a number of different things. I'm a creator and project manager, and I'm just really excited about the platform. And I'm currently working on geospatially located city scale project. And I want to know what Snap has to offer.
Cool. Snap actually is very cool tool, very powerful tool. So I'm happy you're coming here. Jim?
Hi, my name is Jim Melzer. I'm a HMD designer. I've been working in the field for about 35 years. I've been currently working on a head-mounted display for medical and dental applications, and I'm also very interested in tracking. How do we navigate? How do we allow people to navigate in GPS-denied environments? And that's some of the other things I'm working on as well.
Cool. Thank you for coming back, Jim. All right, Kevin? Kevin,
I think
we
you're
don't
muted,
hear
Kevin.
you. Yeah, we don't hear you. Just
Hi
check.
everyone, how's it going? My name's
Now we can hear you.
okay. Yeah, my name is Kevin. I just asked the question earlier. I'm a recent Berkeley graduate, and I've just launched one of my social media apps on the App Store, and I'm looking to integrate augmented and virtual reality into the app.
Cool. Thank you for coming back. Richard? Richard. If Richard, you can hear us, just. All right, let's move to Sean. Sean, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm just here. I'm actually a designer, a UX designer, and I'm just kind of here just to kind of learn more about this space, just so I could help understand how to design things and what, people think in this kind of space. So that's all, just more knowledge.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's exactly why we're doing. So to discover more. Ivan.
Hi there. Yeah, my name is Evan. I am in San Francisco. I'm brand new to the AR space, but excited to learn. And I just sent my LinkedIn in the chat if you want to connect.
Nice, welcome. And quick reminder again, just download the file. It's the first link in the chat. You want to make sure because it takes time. Thank you. Sayash? So amazing, right?
Hey folks, this is Suyash. Good to be here. I live in San Francisco as well, and I also run a few meetup groups around design and creative coding. Those are my passions, and excited to be here and learn this tool with you guys.
Cool. Can you share your link to your group so we can also just check it out? Thank you. Mosaic, just tell me if I don't pronounce correctly.
Yeah, you pronounced it right. So my name is Mosaic. I'm also new to the AR space. I'm incredibly interested in getting into it though, and I'm just here to absorb as much as I can. I've also linked I'm gonna send my LinkedIn so we can all connect if you guys want.
Cool. Thank you. Inara?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. So excited to be here. I can currently specialize in digital fashion. So Snap's full body tracking template is incredibly useful for this use case. So very excited to learn this tool. And yeah, thank you so much for teaching us.
It's a quick question, Nara. Do you run like a Clubhouse group?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God, all right. That's just something for me. Okay. Nice to see you here.
Great to connect. Thank you.
Yep.
I love your Clubhouse group, by the way.
Oh my God. This
You're the
is so
fans
cool.
here. All right.
Amazing.
It's a Clubhouse group.
Right?
Yeah, so I run a show specifically talking about digital fashion. Sometimes it's technical, sometimes it's more like a cultural observation. You can look it up by looking at digital fashion and art, and you'll find this.
Cool. Thank you, Nara. Sachin?
Hey everyone, my name is Sachin. I live in Livermore. I recently started learning about VR and AR. Currently taking a course on coding uh, using Unity. So,
Cool. Welcome. Cassandra?
Yes, hi everyone. Well, I'm from Mexico. I'm a student of industrial design and I'm beginning to learn about immersive technologies. And I follow Francis on Instagram and I saw that he shared this event, so I'm here.
Cool. You first.
Oh, awesome.
First from Mexico with our group. So welcome. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Michael, can you mute Richard, please? Because it's coming. Thank you. So we're gonna start with running a workshop, and after that we can talk about the news. Okay, cool. Francis, please share your screen. We can start.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Give me one moment, please.
Get excited.
One thing to keep in mind is because Snap Lens Studio is a very performance-heavy software, there might be some lags and delays, so just bear with me. So let me see. Share screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so this is the full body triggers demo. This is basically an AR body tracking template for doing 2D body tracking. This is also available on the templates here. If you want to take a look, it's called a body trackers. I'm just gonna see where it's at just to be safe. Yeah, it's called I believe body triggers is somewhere in here. Well, I'll show you later actually. So the purpose of this is to kind of give you an idea of how this AR template kind of works, understanding the file structure, how everything is kind of organized so that you can prototype this for your own custom experiences. And at the end of the day, you will also be able to customize and make your own custom experiences. So actually here, for example, you can also import, I think there's lagging here because it's, yeah, okay, there's some lag. Give me 1 second. I want to close this file because this might be the reason why there's a lag. There we go. Okay, so I'm just, oh, here we go. Okay, so at the end of this lesson, what you should be able to do is be able to learn how to create your own body tracking AR effects for your own use cases. And I think this is lagging still because of the software here. Let me see here. Here we go. So these are some videos that I actually imported from TikTok. And this is nice because let's say you recorded your own 9:6 like resolution videos. You can basically import your own videos to do your own testing for your own purposes. So this is actually the same filter but applied to different bodies. This is actually the song from the Netflix Baile Funk remix that was been viral on TikTok. So use cases that might be really applicable for AR body tracking, like you said, include fashion, dance, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm gonna go back to the original video here for our purposes. So essentially, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to talk about the file structure, how this is organized, sort of how this works, and how to make essentially your own poses. So I know there's a variety of different backgrounds here, ranging from developers, designers. I will go over some basic 3D math, but it shouldn't like overcomplicate you. The important thing, the reason why I'll go over it very briefly is because it's for the purposes of organizing your file structure. Okay, so let's begin. So essentially, okay, there's some lag here. So essentially the way this works is that, there we go, okay. I'm gonna hide this file for purposes of performance here. So essentially the way this works is the file is organized in 3 ways. You have your camera setting here, and let me show you the inspector setting. The camera basically is responsible for effects that are inside the world space. The orthographic camera is responsible for effects that are inside the 2D space. So let me show you what that means. So essentially the way that AR body tracking works for Snap Lens Studio is that we basically have a controller here, a script that takes in all the data from using AR computer vision called the full body tracking controller. So what that means is essentially inside this template here, you'll see inside the children of these components, and there's some slight lag here. Let me see here. So inside the children of these components here, there are basically different object tracking components inside this object. And basically these object tracking components, the purpose of this is to track different parts of your body. So as soon as this lag crap, oh, great, awesome. So essentially, for example, so there's different body tracking types here. And if you want to go into like things like tracking dogs or cats or hands or shoulders or upper bodies, you can do that. And essentially, this template has all the components together for the different bodies. So your nose, your left eye, left ear, neck, left shoulder, right shoulder. So there's a tracking type and the attachment point. And basically, you can select between, you can basically do all the body parts. So like left eye, left hip, right hip, et cetera, or you could, or if you're doing your own custom template, you can selectively just choose the upper body and focus on the face or the arms. So you can, the sky's the limit in terms of like what you want to selectively do. So essentially what's happening is, so you see, this is inside the orthographic layer, right? So orthographic means that the camera is facing, I'm gonna select this again. Bear with me, this lag is kind of crazy. So essentially what's happening is that the camera, orthographic camera, is basically taking in all of this, whoops, my bad. The camera is basically, oh wow, this moved all of a sudden. Hold on 1 second. This is, apologies for the lag here. I'm gonna try this again. Oh, here we go. Whoops, my bad. Let me move this here because it's a weird lag. Let me zoom in again. So essentially what's happening is that, and this is really important, it's taking in all of this data and converting it into, using the computer vision algorithm, into 2D coordinates, X, Y coordinates in screen space, essentially. And the attachment points, like I mentioned earlier, are basically, each time this controller is updating, it's basically returning the new 2D X, Y coordinates in screen space of this particular body, right? So every time your body is moving, it's basically returning that data. And essentially what's happening is that it's taking that data, and basically there's a script called gestures controller. And this is probably going to be the only like code you're going to be looking at for the purposes of the exercise, because there's a lot of code and I don't want to go into too much detail. Essentially what's happening is, I'm going to wait for this to stop lagging. Let me see here. Here we go. It's not lagging anymore. Essentially what's happening is that we are, I'm going to open this file inside the inspector, the built-in editor. Essentially what's happening is that we are essentially taking the data from the full body tracking script, which is from here, this full body tracking controller script, and basically getting the pose that's updating frequently on every frame. And the idea is that inside the body track gestures controller, we're basically returning the XY coordinates of each of these bones, these positions. And essentially we have a section here called the effect triggers example. So these are the example. Let me go back to this here. Essentially what's happening is that these effect trigger examples are basically reading this script here, this gesture controller script, and checking to see, I think it's lagging here, checking to see if certain poses are met, certain XY poses for certain parts of the body are met. And let me show you what that means. And this is probably the most important part of the code that you'll probably edit. So I'm gonna wait for this to stop lagging here.
Francis, let me know when they can ask question.
Sure.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. I think I can actually answer questions right now before I move on. I can do that if that's works better for you.
Okay, so Yash, I can see you want to ask question.
Sure.
Yeah. So can this software track like objects, like whatever, like something that is outside the body, like if I have like phone or any kind of object, can it track that as well?
So the question is, can this object tracker track objects other than people, like objects like you said, the headphone or the
anything
or
that
pen?
Track, right? Yeah, something. Yeah.
So there is a template for that actually. That's and I think what you'd have to do is I think the best way of looking at it is there's a template called the machine learning template. It's actually I think this is lagging here. So basically what you do is you actually would have to train using machine learning models to track specific objects, because inside the object tracking controller that I showed you, it can only track like right now the built-in tracking components are like oh shoot, what's happening here? Right now it can only track like let me go back to the inspector here. Actually, it can only right now it can track only these objects here, like cats, dogs, hands, shoulder, upper body fold, body tracking. So if you want to do like specific objects that like you mentioned, like the headphones or the pens or stuff like that, you would have to train your machine learning models or import a machine learning model of your own to track that specific type of object. Because right now this component only, the built-in object tracking are these objects here.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions so far? I see.
Let's see. I don't see anybody. If I'm missing, just
a quick one.
open your mic.
Can you see me?
Oh, Robin. It's Robin.
Yeah. I'm just making sure I'm understanding this. All of this, both the tracking of the objects and also the pose estimation is done in 2D screen space. Is that right?
That is correct. This is for this specific template. This is all done inside 2D screen space.
Okay.
Yes, and that's sort of why all these components are inside the orthographic camera. And Robin, I'm glad you asked that question, because all the effects that you put in, if you use Snap One Studio, other software, well, they have to be inside orthographic space, inside 2D space, because of positioning and math. Because if it's in world space, then the math gets funky, and you'll see what I mean when I do the other effects. Are there questions so far? I guess if not, we can move on.
Okay. Yes, yeah,
Okay.
you just
Okay, awesome, great. So let me go back to this, what I was talking about earlier. So this effect, as I said earlier, this effect trigger examples is basically going to read these poses to see if these specific poses have been met. So, and I'll show you how to make the effects once I go over this. So these were effects that were written inside the SnapLens Studio folks, Snapchat folks, basically got these values. These are relative positions of this, the relative to the local position of each bone. And if you want me to show you the map, I can do that later in a bit. But these are poses that were given to us inside the template. Now, after just finished slagging, if you actually want to create your own poses, if you want to debug for certain poses for your own use case, the way to do this is essentially there's already a built-in debugger built in inside the screen here. So the way you can create your own poses is actually, basically, let me move this out of the way here. Let me move this thing here. Here we go. So the way this works inside it, this is for this template, is you want to click the template and you can basically have like your own poses that you can like record. And I'll show you how to do that in a bit. But the idea is that if you're creating your own visual effects, you could basically tap this part every time and you can copy and paste the pose inside the library and create your own pose. So I am going to demonstrate sort of the effect triggers section here. Let me move this out of the way.
Is any file we need to open right now?
Yes, there is, but there's a lag here because of the SnapOne Studio. So let me see here. Let's see here. Give me 1 second here. Blah, 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 there. So right now I'm gonna show the effects trigger examples, right? I'm gonna show you how to create your own effects and using both the examples inside the script and also the visual effects that are inside both the template here and also the my own visual effects I have as well. So let me give you kind of an example actually. So I'm gonna just basically hide all the effects for the purposes of this exercise. Let me refresh here. So right now, let me move this out of the way. Here we go. There you go. Right now, the only effect that's happening is right now is just the background effects here. These are not the effects that you trigger. This is just the natural Snapchat AR effects. So right now, I'm gonna give an example of an effect called screen trigger swarm. So basically, this specific effect is triggered when this person touches this particular circle effect here. Now, this is lagging here, so we'll see what happens. And the way this works is, let me see here. Let's see. Okay, perfect. That's not lagging. So the way this works is essentially what's happening is this. Essentially, there's two scripts here called the movement trigger script right here. And I'm gonna load this next file here, the movement trigger response script. So this, if you, basically what's happening is that, excuse me, basically what's happening here is that the movement trigger script basically is responsible for triggering or sending sending a trigger basically to a specific event when something happens. So in this case, we have three different types of trigger effects: touch screen trigger effect, distance trigger effect, and gesture trigger effect. I'm going to focus on touch screen and gesture because those are the most relevant for us. Let's see here. The screen thing is lagging here, so let me move this out of the way. Okay, perfect, we're fine. So essentially, let's see.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is a very performance heavy software, so I'm going to do my best here. So essentially, essentially there's 3 types of trigger effects. The first one is actually the T-pose effect. So T-pose essentially happens when this guy makes this particular pose. And this is basically reading. So the way this works is that you basically are taking in a pose from this object data structure here called a pose library. And this is the most important part. The idea with the pose library script is that you basically are going to be typing in manually what types of poses that that you want this movement trigger script to read for inside this pose library. So in this case, we put down T-pose here, and I want to show you an example here. So this is a T-pose script, and essentially the T-pose script, we are going to send the events that we want to send our T-pose start. This lag here, let's see here. Okay, let's see. Trying to make sure this this screen is not lagging here. So okay, great. And there's the movement trigger response script. And the movement trigger response script is sort of where you say, hey, this is the type of visual effect that we want to enable, we want to show. So this is essentially the T-pose. And essentially, we're going here and we are basically saying we want to send this T-pose start. And this is sort of what we manually, this is like the code, what we write down manually to tell the computer to send. This is what you manually write down to respond as a trigger. And essentially, T-pose start and T-pose end is basically, we're basically telling this these effects to be activated. So where are these effects happening? So this is let me show you this. And this goes back to, I think, Robin, you asked this question about the orthographic screen space. This is sort of where we activate these specific effects. And this is where I show you where to find the effects. Let me go down here. Let me go down here to this lag is I apologize. I didn't expect this lag. It was working very smoothly today. Might be the streaming which is causing the performance issues. So okay, great. So a lot of these effects actually are inside here. So the way you want to place the effects is essentially you want to place all your effects either depending on your use case inside the full screen effects or the below the child of these individual effects here. And the reason why is that, and this is really, really important, is that these child effects sort of give you the it allows you to put the specific visual effect to that specific type of XY coordinates. So anything from like putting the lightning foots down here to the leg effect down here, you want to put all the effects inside this specific these specific components, these children of these components, because it will put the position of these effects inside the XY space of these individual object tracking components. So for example, if you want your effect of the lightning to take place inside the I think the hip here, if I can get this to load, it's going to be inside the effect here. So before I continue, does anyone have any questions so far? I want to make sure I clarify some things in case people get lost. Oh, I think Evan has a question.
Yeah, so about the pose library, is there, can you see a selection of like pre-built poses, or are they all custom?
So Evan, I'm really glad you asked that question. So let me move this out of the way first. So these poses were given to us from SnapLens Studio. So right now, the way SnapLens Studio SnapLens Studio is set up is that there isn't like a UI section that says, oh, we have a library of poses that you can automatically put inside the inspector and say, let me move this out of the way. Oh, this is the GIF that we want this. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in. So let me pause this part here. And Robin, I'm sorry, Evan, I'm really glad you asked this question. There's a bunch of lag here. So there isn't a library of UI inside the inspector. We can have a drop-down menu and say we want a right leg click out, or right leg out, or arm swing left, or T pose. Mainly because the way this script is set up, you kind of have to basically, I'll give an example actually. Right now, I'm gonna get a video of myself dancing actually. So let's say I want to get a video of I want to get a pose of myself dancing. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this pose here. And basically, I'm gonna stop this video here actually. I can't like pause this here.
So to get specific pose, you have to click on something? Okay.
Yes. Sasha, that's correct. Yes. So the way SnapLens Studio is built is that for this specific template, you have to use the tap the screen here, because the code is basically debugging, sending the pose inside this debugger here. And you basically have to copy and paste this specific pose and write this inside the code here. So I'm going to put down random dance sway. Oops, my bad. It's laggy here. Let's see. So basically, you have to copy and paste that specific script that I just script from the logger here, and make it as a pose. And it's gonna. And the reason why it's like that is right now there isn't a way to have like for SnapLens Studio have like a library of a drop-down menu to say, oh, I want to have this specific type of pose. Like that functionality isn't built into a SnapLens Studio. You have to kind of manually copy and paste this like script from the debugger. I wish there was a UI where you could just do that. But right now it's very mathematical. It's based on getting the screen space coordinates of that object of the body, and tapping the debugger and putting it inside SnapLens Studio, and copy and paste it inside a code here known as a pose library. And essentially, when you're inside the movement trigger script, you have to kind of manually say, oh, I want dance sway. You have to manually type it in. So to answer your question, Evan, right now the way SnapLens Studios is you have to copy and paste the specific pose you want from the debugger by tapping on the screen, and then putting it inside the library. That's sort of how it's set up right now.
Great, thank you.
Can you just go over how you got to like opening the logger and all that stuff? And can you just review where's the gesture controller in the hierarchy?
Sure, I can do that. So let me do that right now. So I am gonna load back after this thing is not lagging.
Right, and after that, can you show step by step how you're doing? So
sure, no problem.
Keep it a little bit short because we need some practice.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
So essentially, well, there's a weird thing going on here. Let me just hide this here. So the gesture, let me go back to the file hierarchy again. So essentially the way this is set up is that the gesture controller is right here, and the gesture controller script is right here. So this gesture controller is basically responsible of taking in the data from the full body controller script here, and converting it into bone data that can be updated in this place, every time the camera frame is changing or updating. And the idea is that the way I would get a new pose is essentially I would let me move this phone here, and this is stuck here for some reason. The idea is, let's see here. The idea is that you want to tap the screen. Let me see if this is.
Is it just anywhere on the screen you tap, or is there?
Yes, anywhere in the screen. Yes, anywhere in the screen. Anywhere in the screen. So let me show you right here. So the logger. Let me move this out of the way here because it's kind of lagging here. So the logger. Why is this? Oh, it's still stuck. Well, that's funny. Let me close this panel. Okay, let me go back. All right. So the logger is. Let me move this logger out of the way. I'm gonna put this here. Perfect. All right. So the logger is this debugger thing right here. So every time I want to pose, what you want to do is you want to have this camera play, and you tap the screen. I don't know why. Let me close this. 1 second. I think there's some issue with the debugger here. I want to fix something. Let me get rid of this because I think this is causing the debugger issue here. Let me recompile. So there's an issue with the cache. Hold on, let me see what's happening here. So you want to press the pose. You want to tap the screen, and let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna wait for this program to respond. That's give me oh, we're good. Okay, what's this rendering file? Oh, that's random. This is okay. Let me see here. I did not expect this bug here.
What's going on? So you know.
I think you changed the name of the pose in the inspector, and
that's what happened. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to T-pose. That's what happened. That's what happened. I remember now. Yeah, thank you for pointing out, Robin. That was just me debugging. I'm just gonna go back to T-pose because that screwed everything up. All right, perfect. That's what happened. Thank you. So what you want to do is
okay. Show it how we can to snap the pose, like what the.
Sure. So you want to tap the screen, and basically this pose will pop up inside the debugger, and it is stuck here. That the rendering is kind of weird. There's this bug here that's happening. Hold on. I don't know what this is. A computer vision thing. Okay, this is weird. So essentially, what's supposed to happen is that you're supposed to tap the screen here, and the relative positions of the pose will pop up inside all the bones will pop up inside the logger here, and then essentially what you're doing is you're going to copy and paste that information inside the pose library and make a pose here. So I'm trying to like get this to work, but for whatever reason it's not like debugging for whatever reason. So I'm not quite sure what the issue is here. But essentially, once the information pops up inside the debugger, it's gonna you basically copy and paste it in the pose library here, and this information right here. So for whatever reason, this pose thing is not debugging here. So I have to I might have to reload the file again because it's causing some issues here. So that's how I would approach it. I apologize that the debugger is kind of crashing. So does that make sense?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so there is some weird performance issue with the studio here. So I'm going to.
Francis, it might be that I see a Windows update going on in the background too. I wonder if that could be causing your problem.
Give me 1 second. Let me go back and check. Where's the Windows update? I don't see it in the.
It's in your tray. There's
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Let me see. I want to hide for now because that's not supposed to happen right now. That's weird. That's not supposed to be. No, I don't.
It may not be what it is, but that causes
Okay.
often causes me problems.
Okay. I don't know what the situation is, but I'm just going to open up the a template for SnapLens Studio back to the scene because I didn't expect this performance issue to happen. So let me just go back to the template because that might be that'll save me some time here. So I'm just going to go back to the full body triggers demo. So let me go back to that again because that performance issue was unexpected there.
Right.
So
okay, let's move to the step-by-step tutorial so we can do something because
sure, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. And if you wanted more information, we can do another workshop next time.
Yeah. I apologize for the performance issues there. This is not what I expected today. So let me go back again.
What file we have to open so we can follow in you?
Sure. So let's do that. So right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create our own poses. So I'm gonna hide this stuff right here. Let's see here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create our own pose. So we're gonna go to preview.
Okay, just slowly.
Yes, I'll do it slowly. So I'm gonna do the preview, and I'm going to go to. I'm gonna basically. What you want to do is inside the template. There should be a dancing video that I have here.
Okay, is it we have to click on the top to find
yes.
where's the file? Sorry,
yes.
I just want to make sure clear.
Sure. So essentially, you want to go to My Files, and there should be a bunch of dancing videos. If not, they should be inside the folder inside the Google Drive, and that's also lagging as well here. Let me see here. Okay, right. that should be inside the videos here, so you can import one of these videos. And the way I would make an effect is this is how I would make an effect. So let me go back to that question earlier about the logger. So if you want to get a pose, okay, now it works. Okay, thank God. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, now okay, why don't we go back? I apologize for that. So the way this works is that what you want to do is you want to get a custom pose, and this is sort of where you pay attention. Is first thing you want to do is you want to go back to the gesture controller script, and this is inside here, this component here, the gesture controller script, and you want to press this gesture controller script, and basically this file is inside scripts gesture controller, and here's a built-in editor. You want to press open in built-in editor because this is sort of where you want to get your own pose. Let's see here. So it's opening right now, and let's see here. It's loading here.
Okay, before loading, there's a question from Suyash. He can select the video to upload it. Is it correct, Suyash?
Suyash, could you say it again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like this is the first time I'm using this tool, so I'm seeing like a My Birthday app, and I'm trying to do add the My Files. Is this
okay.
a program we're using? Or?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that last sentence again?
Is this a different program? Looks like you were using a different program. I'm in the
for the
My
video?
Birthday. Yeah.
Oh.
Where do you get that?
Oh, so
you're talking about the preview window.
Window.
Yeah, this is the preview window. So this is the preview panel. So you press panels, and then you press.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the program. That's, yeah.
Oh, you can select the video.
Like which program is this? Because in the preview, when I select like files, when I click MP, like the video file, it doesn't let me select it. I think it's.
Oh, I see. So it might have to do with this specific UI right here. this specific, yeah, because you have to select between one of these three options. So actually you see this section here?
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially what you have to do is essentially let me see here. Put this
maybe I can just watch you. I don't want to.
Okay, well, sure, but essentially the idea is you go inside here and you want to press from files and you import any of these videos here, and then it will pop up inside the selection here. That's essentially how it works, and then you can choose between each one. So anyway, I'll go back to the explanation. Yeah, let's go back. Yeah, so let me go back to that. So the idea is that if you want to get, like, let's say you want to get like this arm swing pose, I just press pose, and let me pause here. So I'm going to slow down for this portion because it's really important. This specific gesture pose is every time I tap the screen here, this pose is popping up on the debugger right here. And you'll see the gives you all the relative positions of each of the bones here. So you want to copy and paste that, and I'm going to call this pose library. Oh shoot, pose library. It's crashing again. That's really random here. You want to type in pose library and make the name of the object here. So in this case, let me wait for this to continue. Pose library, yeah, and then you name the position, the pose you want. So I'm going to call this arm sway right. I'm going to do left, and I'm going to copy and paste the pose that I just got from the debugger. So you'll see here that it has the entire list. You want to erase this timestamp here in the script, and you want to leave this here. But you'll see that, so for the arm sway left pose, we want to, for the purposes of this script, we're going to erase the parts that we don't want, the bones that we don't want. So in this case, we're going to get rid of the leg poses because, and this is sort of where it's really important. We don't want to have like, you might be doing different dance AR poses for different positions. This screen is in the way. Let me close this. You might be doing different dance poses for different videos, and the legs might be off. For example, the legs might be in a different position. You might be dancing X, Y, Z. It might be all over the place. So we're gonna remove the leg point positions for the purposes of the piece. So I'm going to erase this part here. Let's see. I'm going to erase the parts about the legs because we don't want the legs position here. I'm going to close this video for I have an idea. I'm just going to scroll all the way, and I'm just going to erase this leg stuff. All right, perfect. And we're going to leave this. We're going to add a curly bracelet and a semicolon. So now we got arm sway left. We're just gonna call this arm sway left. And essentially what we do is we're gonna create a new scene object, and let's see. We're gonna call this scene object here. We're gonna call this arm sway left. Let's see, arm sway left. It's lagging here, so this arm sway left. This is, let's see here. Hopefully this won't crash on me. Okay, perfect. Arm sway left. And the first thing we want to do is so this is arm sway left effect. And we're also going to create an arm sway let me scroll down here. I think I just created the object. We also want to create new objects. So file, create scene object, and we're going to do arm sway left response. Right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a script component, and we're going to do a movement trigger script here. And inside here, we'll have a movement. We're going to create a movement trigger. We're going to create inside the arm sway left response. We're going to create a movement trigger response script. So we're going to do a movement trigger response script. So what's happening is that we're going to track inside this script here. We're going to basically put in arm sway left as the pose that we want to track. That's really, really important. So so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to let me see if this is not lagging here. Let's see. Perfect. So we're going to, the first thing we want to do is we want to get the gesture library, the source of the gesture library. So, and in this case, we want to put in the body gestures controller, body gestures controller. And this is just where we're going to pull in the poses. And right here, we're going to type in arm sway left. And that's a pose that we want to track for. This is basically what's happening with the body gestures controller is that the movement trigger it's going to read to see if this specific pose, arm sway left, has been hit. And if it does, we're going to send in arm sway left trigger. We're going to basically type it inside the inspector, the type of event we want to send. Arm sway left trigger start, and arm sway trigger left. Let's see here. Let me see here. Arm sway left. I think it's auto compiling. So let me see here. There we go. Yes, arm sway left trigger end. So basically, these are the events that are going to be sent to the arm sway left trigger response to trigger certain events that we want. So in this case, what we have to do here is this is sort of where we trigger the visual effects or the animations, et cetera, et cetera. In this case, what we're going to do is we are going to copy and paste these trigger events. I was talking about the start trigger events and the complete trigger events inside the arm sway left trigger start, arm sway trigger left end. We want to copy and paste those inside here. And the idea is we want to trigger specific visual effects. So in this case, I want to just trigger like a texture that we want. So I'm going to basically go inside here, and we're going to search for the animated texture that we want to animate. So I'm going to open this right now. I'm going to basically press, let's see. It's like lagging here. So let's see. Let's see. We're basically going to go inside here, and we're going to search for a texture that we want to trigger to take place. And we're going to trigger the hand animation, the swarm hand effect. So now this is basically a texture that's available. These are visual effects that are available inside here in these textures here. Now, where are these textures? Where are inside the screen? I'm going to answer that question right now. So these visual effects are all inside, usually inside these components here. So in this case, the hand effect is actually inside the children of, I'm just going to tell you where it's at because this is a template that's already given for us. These templates are already inside, that texture is already inside this object here, the swarm hand object. So essentially what's happening is that after this stops lagging, I'm gonna play the effect. I'm gonna play the effect right now, actually, now that we've already added this and it's compiled. Essentially what's happening is that blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna wait for this to load. We're almost there, by the way. So, okay, there we go. So essentially, we already have this information here set up for us. We have this effect. Essentially, what's going to happen is if we start to play this specific script, and I've already disabled these scripts, so the other effects that Snapchat gave us don't work. I'm going to replay this again. And what's happening is that this effect should be working soon. Let me see. And if it doesn't work, and what happens with visual effects is sometimes you have to replay the effect. Sometimes you have to increase the threshold of this specific effect. So right now, in this case, it's not playing. So I have to go back and see the issue, the debugger here. So gestures, body controls, arm sway left. This is the pose library here. This is saved. Arm triggers, sway left, trigger start. Arm triggers, sway left. So I'm trying to see where the lag is happening here.
Maybe you need to reset.
Yeah, that's probably the issue. I want to reset. There might be a compilation issue. So this sometimes does happen because you have to do a lot of debugging. This is a situation where you have to make sure that the poses are close to where you want. Let me double check it. Does anyone have any questions so far before I continue? Because I think we're almost there. Any questions so far? I don't see any hands raised. Okay, anyhow, so let me arm sway left trigger start, arm sway left trigger end. Let's see. So
yeah, let's increase threshold.
I'm gonna increase the threshold. If not, I'm gonna, one thing that I also do is I can also replace the pose so I can get the pose I really want. So let me pause here. One thing that if that pose doesn't necessarily work, you can basically replace the pose with a better position. So I just tap the screen here and I'm gonna copy and paste. And I'm gonna basically replace the pose with a better, more accurate pose. And I'm going to remove these elements here so I'm going to remove the legs, these elements here, and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to try to erase this portion here. This lag is funky.
I had a quick question. Can you
sure
have two separate poses, like one for the legs and one for the arms, and they both trigger at the same time?
One for the legs and one for the arms, and they both trigger at the same time.
Sets of
oh yes, you can. You can actually do that, and the way you do that is you basically add the value here, and you want to trigger the pose that you want. Oh, I see what's happening. There's no pose with this found in the library. That's what's happening. Okay, so that's what's happening. I have arm sway left, arm sway. Hold on, let me see here. I'm gonna move. Oops, I'm gonna move this out of the way. So I'm gonna move this up here, and I'm gonna. Looks like it says here this pose is not found, so I'm gonna fix that right now. My bad. Let me take care of this. So this debugger will tell us if this pose is not a library. So for whatever reason, it's not there. So I'm gonna try again, and I'm going to get this pose and save again. And I'm gonna replay this again to see if that pose is gonna play. It's lagging here. I'm gonna wait for this to perform well. Blah 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 blah. This is stuck for whatever reason. Here we go. Perfect. So I'm gonna play this again and see what and see it should be playing, and I'm gonna try to put this on the screen here, and hopefully this should play. And oh, now it's working. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Now it's finally working. So the effect is finally working. I apologize for the weird lagging. So this is the fun part. So this is triggering the hand effect that I told you about, the swarm effect inside. Oh, my Zoom just, I'm sorry, okay, let me go back to screen share. That was not supposed to happen. Sorry, it's a lagging issue with my computer, so forgive me. Okay, let me go back again. So the effect is finally working. I apologize for the lagging. So essentially, what's happening is that this effect, I basically put in this swarm effect texture, and this texture is inside this list of textures that you can use. Some of them are very Snapchat specific, and now it's lagging. And essentially, it's triggering, this texture is inside the children of these components here. And essentially, every time that pose in the pose library that we were talking about is playing, then it's going to trigger that visual effect. So the idea essentially is inside the effect trigger effect, you want to create a movement trigger script right here and a movement trigger response script to basically read and send out events when the specific one of these poses are being made, and then this specific pose will this specific visual effect will pop up every time you want. Now, I want to emphasize something that's really, really important. Let's say you're doing a video of this on doing different applications of this in different poses. There's a parameter here called threshold, and the threshold is sort of like your error sampling, sort of your plus or minus delta of how accurate the pose might be. So if you lower this, what happens is this might not happen as frequently, right? So you might be in a situation where you want a certain pose, but you don't want it to trigger like all the time because you want that to be very, very specific. But let's say you're like, yo, I don't really care. I want to pose as much as I can. So maybe you want to increase the threshold and this plus minus delta. So essentially what you might do is, this is there's this lag here. So you want to increase this plus minus delta. So to find the right threshold that meets your specific pose. So in this case, let's say you want to increase it like a 0.46, your plus or minus delta. So now you're seeing that this this hand pose is like moving somewhat frequently. If you increase it to like I don't know, 0.69, for example, then now it's like going more and more frequently. So this plus minus delta thing is sort of a way to increase the sample size of like how frequently you want the specific pose to be met. In conclusion, I'll end with a questions. I just want to say that the way this is set up is your full body tracking controller is responsible for getting all this data in XY space and screen space coordinates. The gesture controller, which is right here, is in charge of retrieving the data into pose data that the computer can read, so that the effect trigger inside here, this lag can use the movement trigger response scripts to see if this specific pose is inside the pose library, so that it will trigger a specific effect when that specific X position within that plus or minus delta has been reached. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I do apologize for the performance issues of the computer. I didn't expect it to. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, who has a question?
I mean, I could ask another one. The thing where you copy the poses by clicking on the debug window and you copy and paste into the code. Presumably, there's a plan for an updated, more smooth workflow for that. Is that in the cards soon, or is that is still a thing we're going to have to deal with for a while?
So I'm not as familiar with that. I haven't Snapchat hasn't announced anything like that, so I don't know if they're going to do that. Right now, this is the only way, as far as I know, to get posts and data, and that it is very messy. I hate it too, but it is the most important part is, yes, you do have to tap the screen and copy to paste the debugger, the information inside this pose library data structure. So there isn't like a UI library right now that says, oh, let's drag and drop like a pose that we want. That isn't available right now, and I don't know if they're working on that, and that's something that I can ask the SnapLens Studio folks to work on.
Yeah, that, or like, I mean, it would be, I guess, from code, I guess you could do it. Yeah, you could do like a Simon Says game, right, where like one person makes a pose and then the other person has to match it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just by saving that data structure in the code or something.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, right now it is a lot of manual copy and paste. Simon Says, do this pose, do that pose, and it is kind of slow. It is a lot very numerical, but that is sort of how it's working as of now. I definitely can follow up on that. That's something I am in touch with a lot of the developer relations people, so I can definitely ask that question to see if that's something on the books, and I can respond to that question if you can ping me sometime.
Sure.
Okay, awesome, great. Other questions?
Francis, not really a question, but a comment to me. And so, yeah, I really actually like the way they've set this up, and that you can follow along the exact process, but you can actually take this and extend it with the scripting to actually do other things as well. So it's like a really flexible system.
Yeah, it's nice, the scripting, because so this template you could extend to your own effects. There's a lot of flexibility here, but it is kind of ugly to go through a lot of the code back and forth. So that is sort of the if you want to customize it, you do have to read some of the code and manipulate the data specifically for your purposes. But yeah, the scripting is very flexible right now. Other questions?
No, I don't see any question in the chat. It's a good one. So
okay,
you can follow. So we're gonna post this tutorial on the YouTube channel, so you can following if you miss something or you need to watching for clear something. I think we're gonna do like another workshop, but not next week. Maybe in following few weeks to clarify something. Yeah, because it's a lot of information, like really a lot, especially if you open for the first time. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. I think it's definitely overwhelming because of the scripting and the performance issues that I did not expect would pop up, because it was very smooth when I was running on my computer. I think it's partially because of the Zoom streaming. So I definitely can, for another demos, I can work with it to make it more more non-coder friendly, because there is a lot of stuff that happens inside the hood.
Right. This would be great if it's just something like non-coding for designers, like to make something cool feature, like a prototyping thing, especially if people are asking how we can use Lens Studio.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely can consider making it more designer friendly, just because I think that the scripting and thinking about things like trigger effects and events, and it has a very developer centric like thinking. So, and I think that might be the issue, is that things might break, or things might debug if that line of developer thinking may not be like part of your workflow. So I'll definitely work on that. That's something I can work on.
Okay, great, thank you. If nobody asks a question, Thanks for coming. We're not going to keep you longer. I don't know if you want to stick around for this to chatting, for networking, because we're already running out of time.
Right. Yeah, we probably won't do much more this week, but next week we'll have our weekly networking and sort of talking about the news or wherever else we're interested in. And if somebody wants to present a demo or any other work, please reach out and let us know.
All right.
You can contact us through Meetup or through LinkedIn. And thank you so much, Francis, for this workshop.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you. The tour was great.
Awesome. No problem. No problem. So I can stay for a few minutes to chat if there are any other questions. I have a little time. It's the non-demo session, so I can ask any questions.
So I just quick question, like maybe somebody interesting to become as a studio creators, so Snapchat creators officially. Like the way, like my question is like how you become a Snapchat Lens creators, like.
Sure. So I think the developer relations team, there is a developer relations team with Snapchat, and they are constantly looking for developers to be part of the developer to part of the AR Snap Lens Creator Program. So I think the first thing that I would do is contact some of the folks there, and they can kind of vet and see, like review your portfolio and give you the application process. There is an application process to see if they you would be a good fit for the Snapchat Lens Creator Program. I can give you the contact information for some of the folks there, or I can refer you. If that's something you're interested, I can email you to the contact person, and then they can kind of go over the details of sort of like what they're looking for. That's the best way that I would kind of refer people to the program.
Oh, cool. Thank you. And the best way to contact you, it's email or social media?
Oh, yes. Let me give you my contact information actually right now. Let me do that right now. Let me see here. Shoot, my bad. I'm gonna do screen share. So my contact information is right here. You can FNCS Chen Instagram. This is also my email too. So if you want to reach out to me, I can give you the information of sort of what the process is.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions?
How long have you been doing Snapchat filters?
So I've been playing around with AR filters for at most about 6 to 8 months, but it wasn't until I transitioned recently to being AR Snapchat Lens creator. Just because I think, I think for a while, I'll just say that I think with the AR market, ow, my foot, I just pulled my leg muscles, so forgive me. So right now with the AR market, I think there wasn't a way to like make money directly with like AR lenses. But right now, the Snap Lens Studio, they're creating a lens. They just created a Snapchat AR lens marketplace. Creator marketplace, and their idea is that they want to partner directly with brands and partners that want to create AR lenses as part of their marketing and retail strategy. They're about to launch that soon, but they said they'll be launching it in the next few weeks. I haven't heard back from when that day is exactly, but I think I've been doing it casually, and I decided to sort of put more time into it after I saw that Snapchat decided to put more emphasis on creating AR world lenses for Snapchat decided to create AR lenses to do marketing and retail and hospitality and a lot of those clients. So I took it more professionally, seriously, in actually the past several months. So I've been playing around lenses for about close to 6 to 8 months, but I've been taking it professionally seriously until recently. So
that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've met a couple of people at like like traditional advertising creative agencies who do enough Snapchat filters that they can do the things they need to do for their agency, but they're not like specialists, so it's exciting to see people sort of really specializing.
Yeah, I think the industry and also the tools are becoming more specialized now, where you can do more of the lenses. I'm sorry, do more like specific lenses to focus on audiences, because the templates are very, very powerful. There's body tracking, there's face tracking, there's 3D body mesh, there's like there's cloth physics, there's a lot of visual effects, there's a lot of specific use cases for specific types of genres. So I feel like the platform as itself, there's more flexibility to do AR lenses for a lot of marketing related purposes. So I think at some point the industry is going to mature where it is possible to create lenses to sell or do for marketing related purposes, just because the industry is maturing because the tools are getting more powerful.
Francis, I noticed you posted up on Twitter a video. Was that actually a 3D body tracking?
That's 3D body tracking. Yeah, I can show you how that works actually. I can do that. Let me do a screen share. So that is actually, let me open that right now. If I have the body, oh, here it is. Let me see if I can do the screen share. I'm gonna discard this here. Give me 1 second, I'll do the screen share. So 3D body tracking, essentially the way this works is that, let me see what's loading, because there's a bunch of lag here.
I think you're sending us 2 video signals as well. And maybe
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, that's probably why, because the lag is coming from there. Okay, great. So let me do this first. Let me do this first here. Here we go. Let me screen share this first. And okay, now I'll show you how it works. So this is a 3D body mesh. So the original version is actually, let me do spacesuit. The original version of the template is actually a spacesuit. Yeah, so this could track both the back and the front. And this can track this part of the body, this part of the body, and oh my bad, this doesn't work because of performance. It's a weird performance issue. So let me import another video here.
Oh my God, the furries are gonna love this.
Yes, they will. So this is another. Hold on, let me get another video actually, because hold on. Here we go. So this is another TikTok video of like a body pose, and there's obviously some sampling issues going on here.
That's a challenging body pose, though. I mean, she was doing some
yes
movements.
Yeah. So there is a lot of error sampling going on, and let's see. Blah 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 blah. There's some lag here. So anyhow, while this is like streaming here, okay, so I'm gonna replace it with my own material. So this is a material that I actually made inside a VFX editor. This is actually, I have some material editor. So I have some like shader background as well.
Yeah,
so yeah, so this is actually what I made here on my own manually, and I'm gonna put this one here. So this material is basically put on top of an existing body mesh, and the material is put on top of the mesh here. And that's sort of where the visual effects is happening. So it is a 3D body mesh that this came out in the new version of SnapLens Studio 4.0.
Nice.
Yeah, no problem. Yep. Michael, what were you gonna say?
Oh, no, it's very, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So it can track both the front and the back. And before it was just a 2D body segmentation where it's just a 2D image of the person, but now it's like 3D. So it has all that positional data.
Nice.
Do they have triggers for the system as well, or is it just right now it's just adding in your own mesh?
So there is a 3D body trigger pose, and that is it's probably a lesson for another day. But the way this works is that well, actually I can show you right now, but I probably can't set up the triggers due to time.
That's
so
fine.
yeah, essentially it's this thing is like lagging here. So the idea is that I'll just do this right here. I'm going to put object tracking 3D, and you can actually create, right click here, right click new body tracking asset. And then you can put this inside here. It doesn't match. Oh, here you go. And then all the 3D points are available here. And these are, I think this is all in. Let me like do this actually quickly. This is all inside object tracking 3D. I'm sorry, not object tracking 3D. I'm going to do object tracking. Let me remove this here. Shit. This is here. Okay, object tracking. And then you could basically do like full body tracking and attach all the relevant positions here. Yeah, and that's kind of a lesson for another day. Yeah, that's essentially how I would like do the body tracking basically. But the I think this is hold on, see. I don't know if they convert this into 2D space, if that's how that works, because it seems like this is still in 2D. I have to play around with this more. Yeah, but yeah, to answer your question, Robin, earlier, the 2D pose library copy and paste code thing is still the biggest issue. I think for some people that's already a lot to take in.
Right. I mean, there's a couple of hurdles there, right? That like understanding that those names with the caps after the pose library dot are the thing that you type into that little box. Like there's a few little jumps that a non-coder would have real trouble with.
Yeah. And I see that now because like the issue is a lot of people might get turned off by that, and that's sort of I kind of sense that in the chat because I feel like that takes a lot of it does take a lot of patience to think logically about event triggers and stuff like that. There is a 3-minute video version of this on StatOne Studio, but even then, if you're trying to make custom like prototypes for your specific event, it kind of requires you to understand that file hierarchy, and so it definitely requires some review. And I'll say this, that like if it is a confusing issue, I'm more than happy to hop on like a video chat with someone and say, hey, this is how it works. I just haven't found I don't know what the best way to explain beyond the pose tracking library dot thing. I don't know how to go beyond that, because it is a very coding specific type of tracker thinking.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I'm glad there's a threshold slider, because otherwise it's like you set your pose and then you don't really have much control over sort of how precise you have to be, right? Like I don't think I could hit the exact same pose I made last time, right? But like how close do you have to be? I think that's good to have that.
Yeah. It's also good because you can test out for different scenarios too. If you're doing like video testing and stuff like that, like that's very, very, I think that video, it helps for doing a lot of sampling across different poses if you're testing in different environments.
So there's looks like a material editor, there's a shader editor built into Lens Studio. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So the material editor is for all your shaders if you want to make your own materials, and there's also visual effects editor if you want to make your own particle systems, but I won't play that because it's going to crash the computer.
Yeah.
But
Not
yeah,
while you're streaming, at least. Yeah.
yeah. That's the thing I didn't expect with 45 people, is that streaming with 45 people actually increases the graphics performance rendering issue inside Snapline Studio. And I apologize for that. There were a bunch of lags. I didn't anticipate that 45 people would cause my computer to crash. So I think I'll definitely for future purposes, demos, I'll definitely consider how to optimize for that. But that was not something that I expected. So
well, you handled it fine.
Okay, that's good to know.
Not much you can
That's
do,
good.
right? It's like you just
Yeah.
gotta keep talking and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in the beginning, next time, we just have to short explanation because it was a little bit too long, and
Sure.
then to jump in right away to do your filters step-by-step tutorial.
Okay. Maybe not. So in other words, maybe it might be better to avoid the file structure stuff if their use case is just copying and pasting the VFX.
Yeah. I mean, I think for a 1 hour workshop specifically, right? Just focus on the step by step. Let's just do the thing, right? If we had 4 hours, it'd be like, oh, we're gonna do an intro and do this and that. But 1 hour is not a lot of time.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
Especially
definitely. Okay. I'll definitely do that then, because I wasn't sure what my audience was if they're going to customize more lenses, or this is just a one-off thing. But I think that I'll definitely do the step-by-step thing, because the other stuff they can kind of take your time and absorb at a later date. Okay. Happy to answer any other questions.
Well, I gotta run, Francis. It was great to meet you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Let me see as well. So great. Okay. Well, I can definitely for future talks, if this is something that you want to do more in the future, I'm happy to talk more about working on future demos or experimenting more and seeing what works best, because some of this stuff is definitely worth trying to explain more in the future, because there aren't a lot of tutorials on how to tackle this. So I'm definitely open to having that conversation in the future if that's something that you're interested in.
Yep. Definitely we're gonna do in the future. I mean,
okay.
Few follow weeks, not next week. We're gonna do just a networking session, chatting.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna. Oh gosh, there's a bunch of context that I want to copy and paste inside here. Let me see.
You can save the file if you want to save the chat. You can save the chat just clicking on 3 dots, I think. Yeah, and save the file and chat.
Okay.
Save as
a
file.
It's what's the option? Let me double check. It's meeting. Let's see here. Chat. Let me see. Oh, I see it now. I'm gonna save it as a Dropbox file. That's perfect. I'm gonna let me stop. No, I won't share my screen here. I just want to stop sharing my screen. All right, cool. Let me save this as a Dropbox file before I forget. I'm gonna call this Snapchat.